Happy birthday, Chris. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Feels like it's been a while. Consignment update number 1 for the December auction, taking place from the 2nd to the 5th. Final sale of the year. Should be a 4-day sale. Should be. We'll see.
Might be 5.
Might be 5. We have done that once this year, but we're aiming for a 4-day sale. As we get a barrage of stock, we are quite full. Racks are already looking very full, in fact. And yeah, just first of all, thank you so much for your attendance, whether that was bidding, selling, underbidding in the September auction. It was a fantastic sale. We had a great result with the Jimmy Page guitar. I mean, it doubled our expectations, really, and a lot of other people's, I'm sure. But fantastic results across the board. But, you know, they wouldn't be the same without all of you guys. Thanks to all of our subscribers. Please keep subscribing to the channel. We are on a bit of a mission to see if we can hit 10,000 subs by the end of the year. That would be I've still got a way to go, but I think we're just approaching 9,000. But we could actually be there. I haven't checked in a while. But
tell your friends, tell your mums, tell your nans, tell everyone.
Tell everyone. It'll be great to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. A little bit of a bonus for us. It is also CJ's birthday today. Hence the cake chomping.
Do it for my birthday.
Do it for CJ's birthday. Make it the greatest birthday ever. So yes, it is CJ's day of birth, so happy birthday to him. And no, he didn't get the day off. Cracking the whip, too much work to do. Yeah, but yeah, he can put his feet up later. You know, got stuff on.
Or was it usually say sleep when you're dead?
Yeah, maybe not the best thing to say, but there we go. But today we are looking at roughly 14, 15 guitars, all from one collection. They all stick to a certain theme. They all are Fender guitars, vintage Fender guitars, and there's something quite unique, special, rare right at the end. But hopefully, if you like Fender guitars from the 60s of a certain colour, that being candy apple red, you're in for a treat. If you don't like any of those things, this might not be the video for you. And you can join us again next week, but it should still be a good watch, I hope. But like I said, please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. We're trying to get to 10,000 subs by the end of the year. That'll be so good. If you see this video and it's at less than 500 likes, give it a little like. Help spread the word. Thank you so much. Let's take a look. First up, we have a candy apple red Fender Stratocaster from 1966. Yeah, this is all part of a larger collection. We've got around 14 or 15 going in this sale in December. There will be more coming in future sales from the same collection, but they do all follow a theme that they are, the majority of which candy apple red finished, which was Leo Fender's favourite finish. So there we go, a bit of information for you that you may or may not have known. But I've said 66, and you will notice it's got a small headstock, so it is very much 65 spec. The only part that dates this guitar really to 66 is the pickups, but we always date them from the latest part installed. So potentiometer is very late 65, 65 date stamp on the neck. What you will see is it's got the transition logo, but that is a later decal. So that is actually a repro decal. You can see it's slightly, I mean, it is mispositioned. It's right at the edge. It shouldn't be that far over. The reason for that is the neck has actually been refinished. So refinished neck. So that's probably part of the reason why the decal was also replaced. And although the finish seems to have a pretty much the original finish, there is some overblow in areas, because there's a few dings that are filled in and just don't look quite right. So there is a bit of overblow on the top, but most of the original red finish is there. You can see all the undercoats. One thing with Candy Apple Red is you had with undercoats you could have silver, gold and white, and sometimes, I mean, you can see all the layers that there are. We've actually got one guitar from this collection. I think there's about 9 different layers of paint. It's one of the bases we've got, so we'll see that in a future video. But yeah, I quite like the way these guitars wear. And you can see the gold undercoat as well. So really cool example. But with these later ones, we have a white guard. We got pearl dots. This is actually an Indian board rather than a Brazilian board. It is quite dark, but it definitely is Indian rosewood. So some pretty rare specs there, being that it is a 66, but with this smaller headstock. Comes in a case. It's actually a slightly later case than the guitar itself. But yeah, cool guitar. Vintage Strat, Candy Apple Red from 1966. So next up we have another Candy Apple Red guitar. Like I said, these are all running with that theme. This is a 66 Tele, again Candy Apple Red. You can see some of the undercoat, as you'd expect, in areas. It's always quite nice to see actually, this relicking. And when you can see the undercoat and things like that, it actually makes it a little bit easier to authenticate as well. You can see there is some drop fill. A lot of these guitars do have sort of various bits of drop fill in them. But this is 66 with a rosewood board, so this is Indian rosewood. You can see how light it is. The Strat we saw was quite dark, but the grain and pore structure would indicate that that was also Indian rosewood. Quite rare to see on a small headstock Strat. Anyway, enough about the Strat. Nicely worn neck, feels really nice, sort of that satin feel. And yeah, I mean, apart from that, it's pretty good. So you will notice that there's not an orange line case. So this is a 70s era case. Still got the Made in USA and the small R there, but it's got the darker interior as well. So yeah, these were sort of mid to late 70s, these cases, more towards the 80s. It's got its cover there for the bridge. And electronics wise, pickups appear correct. The potentiometers have been replaced though. I think one's from 84 and one's from 86. It'll all be correct in the catalogue. So there are a few minor changes there. But there we go, 1966 Fender Telecaster. Another Candy Apple Red Fender. This time we have a Jaguar. So what is quite nice to this video, I don't want to give too much away, but you're almost going to see one of each, which yeah, quite a sight to behold. Orange line case, as you can see, which is bang on the mid-60s period, without the logo, so it's kind of like 65-ish, 66, that kind of date. Trem arm just sitting underneath the pocket there. Even got the bridge cover as well. But again, Candy Apple Red. This one is from 67. You can see some light checking all over the body. Some people like that, some don't. There's a bit of an imperfection there. Bubble wrap or something's been put against it at some stage. Not the thing to do with nitro finishes, but there we go. And what can we say about this one? Matching headstock, which is always a cool look. I do prefer this on these custom colour guitars. A lot of Jaguars and Jazzmasters had that. We've got the mute still in place. That often gets taken off. So in terms of dating parts, I think February 66 neck on this one. Got the dots on the Indian rosewood board. Bound neck as well. Potentiometers. So we got 67 potentiometers here, which is how we know it's 67. Always date by the last part. And we've got 66 mini pots up here. So yeah, 67 Jaguar and another cool piece. And again, in its original case, probably My pick of the bunch, I do like a Jazzmaster, and sticking with the offset theme from the Jaguar we've just seen, this is a 66 Fender Jazzmaster. So this one does actually have a Brazilian Rosa board. The transition was from 65 for going to Indian, but there were quite a few models that would have been using leftover materials. This will be one of them. So Brazilian Rosa board on this one, but as you can see, we've got the pearl dot markers, bound board as well. But all the parts, do check out 266, all dated and stamped with the correct 66 markings. Again, candy apple red, checking all over. You can see the various undercoats there in all the blemishes and cracks. But another really cool guitar. Again, matching headstock as well. That's a great instrument. So original case of this one as well. And again, we got the trem arm and the bridge cover. So 1966 Fender Jazzmaster. And now we have a bass. This one again from 66. The majority of these guitars are kind of all around that 66 date. And yeah, another candy apple red with the matching headstock as again. Really cool bass this is actually. I do love a jazz bass. I almost prefer them over a precision bass, I think. I don't know why, just always have. I had a good friend, one of my first ever bands, he always used to use a jazz bass, and yeah, kind of the vision of him playing that's just kind of stuck. Anyway, you can see all the undercoats again. You can see especially in this one, you can see all the multi-layers there. Anyway, I just, from a I guess an academic point of view, I just find it quite interesting, be able to look at all these things. Get to learn about all these custom colours. But there we go, light checking throughout. Got the wear on the contours as you would expect. It's always good to see that as well. The old thumb wear there on the edge of the guard. But Indian Rosa board on this one. Got the pearl dots again, as you'd expect. Bound neck. Quite small necks on these jazz basses. And I believe it's the A profile, isn't it? They're stamped as on the end of the neck, 66 stamped neck. Nice and worn on the neck, giving a really nice satin feel, really comfortable. We've got all the covers in place as well, 66 potentiometers. Another cool bass guitar comes with its case. So if there's anyone looking at our last auction and saw we had two 66 Sunburst Fender Electric 12s, if you didn't pull the trigger because you were holding out for a candy apple red one, well, there you go, now's your chance. So 66 candy apple red, matching headstock, Fender Electric 12. And what have we got with this one? Again, Indian Rosa board, pearl dots, as you'd expect, matching headstock. Light checking all over the body, but the body's in pretty good condition. To be honest with you, these Electric 12s, I guess they get used a lot less than standard 6 models, so you tend to see less wear. There are a few dings and blemishes, but we do have 65 pots on this one, 66 dated neck. So we always go from the last part, as said previously. Comes with its original case. Another cool custom colour, candy apple red Fender. So in here we have another bass guitar and a much lesser spotted bass, a 5-string. So this is from 65, and again the candy apple red finish with the matching head. This one is missing its bridge cover, but we do have the pickup cover in place. There we go, light checking on the head as we can see, as well as the body. If you look at the serial number, quite interestingly, the base 5 series seem to be in this 600,000 range. We sold another one with this in this same range, I believe it's about this time last year. What is quite interesting though is we've got 600,002, and if the base 5 guitars started at 600,001, then perhaps this is the second one that was made. I think the other one we sold was in the 600,200 range. But maybe there's some people out there who know more about that than me, but this model just seems to be within that range. Maybe there are other models that are put in that range as well. Off the top of my head, I do not know, but there we go. Another thing with this guitar, 65, you would expect it to have a Brazilian board, which the wood appears quite light, but it also doesn't appear to be Indian rosewood. But by chance, I was doing some light bedtime reading, because I came across a Fender guitar that was described as having a Paduk fretboard, and apparently it was a thing, particularly in basses. It's quite a red wood, certainly a lot lighter than Brazilian rosewood, and it did make me wonder, maybe this is in fact one of the ones made with Paduk. There will be people out there, there's probably people watching this video who know far more about this than I do. But it certainly seems to be the case that it was used on basses more often than not. I mean, this might not be Paduk at all. Anyway, what can I say about it? Well, like I said, from 65, lacquer checking, buckle markings, you can see the white undercoat there. It's a 15 fret guitar bass, which is also quite an interesting thing. But very playable, 5-string, the neck's not too wide. I think, what can we say about the body shape without causing any offence? Maybe a little bit goofy looking.
Looks like a stretched
Sonic
or something, maybe.
It does, but yeah, interesting guitar. Don't see them that often. For a Fender collector or bass collector, it's one that not everyone's going to have in their collection. So in here we have a 1966 Fender Precision bass. Guess interesting thing about the case, you got a tail on the Fender, which I believe was a feature from 67 onwards, but anyway, it would have all been transitional, so it's a within period case at least. But if you don't want a jazz bass because it's too jazzy for you, then we do have a precision bass.
Because they're more precise.
More precise. Some people will probably agree. And yeah, again, really good condition. Checking all over the body, which again I think is nice to see. Some light areas of wear. Indian rosewood board, quite a dark Indian rosewood board. There are people that like the darker look of rosewood. Light wear to the frets. As you can see, the logo, the smaller logo from that period rather than the big logo that came in the later 60s. All the correct hardware. F-stamped neck plates. Got the covers. And all the electrics inside check out as well. So 1966 Fender Precision bass in candy apple red. Again, the tail on the Fender, which as long as the guitar and the case match, you will get an idea that this guitar probably dates from the late 1960s. And it does. 67. Yeah, that waft. So if you have a look at the case, you can see, I wasn't quite sure what it was when I first opened it up, but it's lavender. And I thought, why is there lots of lavender in here? And then as I was cataloguing the guitar, I kept getting this really strong waft of curry spices, sort of like, I guess it's like garam masala spices, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's really giving that scent. So just if you're interested in bidding on this, word of warning, there is a curry smell coming from it.
You're hungry every time you
Yeah, I do like a curry. So this is a Fender Bass 6, as you can see.
It smells amazing.
This guitar has actually been refinished, which I think is glaringly obvious with the way it's cracked and other various things. The other thing you will notice is it's got a shell guard, which you'd usually see on the sunburst finish ones. So it likely started life as a sunburst guitar. We got some tarnishing and things to the hardware. Got the mute that's still on there intact, needs a bit of adjustment, but comes in its original case. All appears mostly original apart from the finish. And yeah, there we go, another bass, or variation of basses from Fender. This one from 1967. Chris has just said how good that last guitar smelt, and it's now making him very hungry. And we just had a debate about what he's going to have as his birthday tea. And I said, well, can't have a curry, mate. It's your birthday. You're a huge pizza fan. And it just reminded me of this incredible picture of a pizza playing a guitar. This is the birthday card that my son gave Chris. He's a big fan of Chris. And yeah, I thought it was incredible. Yeah, my youngest, he said, what does CJ like? Oh, guitars and pizza. He said, I know, I'm going to draw a pizza playing a guitar. And there we go. Anyway, enough food talk. I'm making myself hungry now. What have we got in here? So we have a 1972 Fender Mustang bass, and it's a Competition Mustang with the stripe. So candy apple red with the Competition stripe. Short scale bass, a lot of fun these are. If you're a guitarist like me and doesn't want to quite stretch to the long scale of a standard bass, then yeah, these are a pretty good option. I do have lots of fun playing these. Bit of a blemish on the neck there. It's been rubbing somewhere, possibly in the case. But you will see it's within a Selmer case, which is probably, or will be, much earlier than the guitar itself. So a 60s Selmer case would have been for a short scale bass of some description, or a short scale guitar at least. And yeah, another cool candy apple red Fender, this time from the early 70s. And in here you will see in this Victoria case, Fender case, which usually indicates that we've got a short scale instrument. You can tell by the size of the case as well, obviously. Bridge cover there, that's come off. But we have a Fender Mustang, Competition Mustang. There we go, to match the previous bass. This one's seen a bit more of a life, checking all over, blemishes, dings, the lot. We've got a 1970 dated neck, 71 pots, but all the parts, again, do appear original. We've checked it over inside and out. But another cool short scale guitar. Had one in the last sale as well. This will probably bring 1,500 to 2,000 these bring, so it's sort of affordable way into the vintage market at least, and they look the part as well. So there you go, 71 Fender Mustang with the Competition stripe. So in here we have another Telecaster, but this time a Bigsby Telecaster. Now CJ pulled me up the other day and he said, "Here, Luke, what are all these strings doing lead on the floor?" And I completely denied anything to do with it, but opening this case has just reminded me what happened. So I took this guitar apart, and what I tend to do, as many of you have seen when I've taken guitars apart in videos before, I will slacken the strings off. I'll put a capo over to keep all the strings in place, take it apart. It makes it easier to put it back. You don't have to restring it.
Bigsby's don't let you do that, though.
Bigsby's don't let you do that, and they all slip off, and then I stand there being very frustrated trying to get all the strings back on. So I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip them all off, and that's a CJ problem for later. And obviously I just slung them on the floor temporarily, and then CJ found the evidence and I denied it, and I completely forgot the reason. So I'm apologising in public to CJ for completely denying that it was me. Anyway, enough about our internal disciplinaries.
Couples therapy.
Yeah. So this is a factory Bigsby. This is the bridge plate that comes with these factory Bigsby guitars. it feels a bit weird looking at it without strings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off before I turn the guitar upside down and it falls off. And I'll also do that with the spring as well. There we go, they now can no longer fall out. Candy apple red finish. 71, as I said, really highly figured neck. There we go, bird's eye maple. Look at the back of the head there. Really nice bit of timber there. And yeah, light checking all over the body there. 4-bolt neck. And the potentiometers do date to 66, and you do find this a lot in later Fender guitars, late 60s, early 70s guitars, because in 66 with the CBS takeover, with the assumption that they would be selling a lot of guitars, they bulk ordered potentiometers. So they had potentiometers for days. So they would just go into the parts bin and they just never ran out because of how many they ordered. So you do find a lot of these later guitars have yeah, potentiometers from 66. Anyway, everything seems to check out. Comes with a case which is actually, I think, slightly earlier. So as a sort of a mid 60s case there. And yeah, if you're after a telly with a Bigsby, a lot of people do like the whole Bigsby thing, then there you go.
We'll even throw in some free strings.
So in this lesser spotted case, this ABS case that says for Fender, there will be people out there who know more about these cases than I do, but I have seen them before with these guitars, certainly from the period. We have another Fender jazz bass, this time without a matching headstock. Just going to see, nope, no goodies in there to talk about. I've catalogued this as circa 1968. The neck is unstamped. The potentiometers are 66. However, the serial would suggest it's from around 68. There is some crossover with some of the serial numbers. As usual, nice small neck, really dark Indian rosewood board, pearl block position markers. I think this is the look I like on the jazz basses with the block position markers rather than the dots. There'll be those who completely disagree with me, and that's okay. But you can see this has seen a life, but again, candy apple red finish with the unusual case. Still has the covers as well. His guitar. It's quite something. Really interesting. Have a look at the head there, and your eyes are not deceiving you. It does indeed say Fender Electric X. So this is a 10-string Fender, and we believe it's the only one in existence. We are still researching this, so that is the caveat. So yeah, you can question it all you want, because that's exactly what we're doing right now. But it's, to the collector and other people, this has always been seen as a unique one-off guitar, possibly a prototype, special order. It's from 72. It's in the Mustang style, but you've got this sort of very much Electric XII type head, 10-string. So we've got the 2 single on the bottom and the higher 4 strings doubled up, which I guess makes sense from a playing point of view. Condition-wise, it's okay. Light checking. Looks like there's a bit of a sticker burn mark there. Some dings and blemishes and what have you. Comes in a case that fits as well. Underneath the guard, there is an inscription that says Spec X, so special 10, which would indicate it was a special order. But you know, even as far as all the you know, the barrel here, the tooling is all, you know, it's been done specifically for this guitar. I mean, obviously they could have used an original bar and done that, but a Mustang bar, but yeah, a unique thing, and we do not know, like I said, another one in existence. If any of you out there do, let us know. But we are researching this more. It's quite fresh in, so we haven't delved that deep with it just yet. But yeah, wow. Could be the only one we ever see, only one I ever see, only one any of you ever see. And if there is more than one out there, this still might be the only one we ever see, but a fantastic thing to have. And I think that's a good way to conclude this video of Candy Apple Red Fender guitars. So there we go, ladies and gents, thanks for joining us today. First consignment update for December. This year has absolutely flown by. Once again, thank you for the bids in the last sale. But I hope you enjoyed that episode today. I'm running with a theme, all guitars from one collection with the Candy Apple Red finish, part of a larger collection which we will see more of in the future. But yeah, quite an incredible guitar to finish on, the Electric X. And as always, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. It really does help get this video seen by more people, and at the end of the day, it helps us be able to produce more of these videos. Catalogue previews will go up in time on guitarauctions.com, guitar-auctions.co.uk, so do check out that as well. And of course, sign up to our mailing list. But mailing list and social media, Instagram, Facebook, they are the first place to hear news or know about anything, certainly in advance of some of these YouTube videos. But yeah, thanks for joining us again today, and we will look forward to seeing you again next week.